The gamma-glutamyl cycle is the synthesis and breakdown of glutathione. And this gamma-glutamyl cycle was elucidated by Altenmeister. Now, the enzymes in this cycle are in green with the orange number next to them. And again, this is the synthesis and breakdown of glutathione. And it is this cycle that happens inside the cell that is what causes us to bring amino acids from outside of the cell into the cell. So again, it's the gamma-glutamyl cycle, the synthesis and breakdown of glutathione, that is used to carry amino acids into the cell. And again, amino acids are the individual building blocks of proteins. Now again, the enzymes are in green with an orange number next to them. Okay, so we'll start with enzyme 1. All my references will be in the description box, as well as the actual names of these enzymes. And again, enzymes are protein. Okay, so we'll start with enzyme 1. And enzyme 1 requires manganese or magnesium as well as ATP. Now, enzyme 1 brings glutamate and cysteine amino acids together to form the dipeptide bond of glutamate and cysteine. So again, enzyme 1, this is part of the synthesis of glutathione, taking the amino acid glutamate as well as the amino acid cysteine and forming a dipeptide bond of glutamate and cysteine. That dipeptide bond goes to enzyme 2, which requires water, magnesium, and ATP, and that's where it picks up a glycine amino acid, and that's what creates our glutathione for us. So it's enzyme 1 and enzyme 2 that are the two enzymes that synthesize glutathione. Now, glutathione is a tripeptide of glutamate, cysteine, and glycine. Now, enzyme 3 is where the breakdown of glutathione begins. Now, enzyme 3 sits on the cell membrane here, and this is the enzyme that allows the amino acids to come into the cell by breaking down glutathione. Now, when glutathione goes to enzyme 3, it pulls a glutamate, the glutamate amino acid off of glutathione. Now, enzyme 3 requires boron and oxygen, or borate. And when the glutamate amino acid is pulled off the glutathione, that's when we're able to pull an amino acid from outside the cell into the cell. Now, this glutamate residue now has an amino acid attached to it inside the cell that was formerly outside the cell, and it's enzyme 4 that strips glutamate of this amino acid, allowing it to be free in the cell. Now, at this point, glutamate has now become something called oxoproline, and enzyme 5 that requires ATP and magnesium converts oxoproline back to glutamate to begin this cycle again. Okay, so back at enzyme 3, when we pull the glutamate amino acid off glutathione, we're left with this dipeptide of cysteine and glycine. Now, cysteine and glycine are broken down at enzyme 6 into cysteine and glycine as individual amino acids to repeat the synthesis part of the glutamyl cycle. So again, glutathione, the synthesis and breakdown of glutathione is what allows cells to bring amino acids from the outside into the cell. One other thing I want to bring up here is that in the book Healing is Voltage, Dr. Tennant had mentioned that glutathione is critical for bringing the thyroid hormones from the cell membrane to the mitochondria. So I put T4 and T3 here with the idea that it could be also in this process as well. Now, thyroid hormone is 2 tyrosine residues surrounded by either 4 or 3 iodine. So again, glutathione is also used to bring the thyroid hormones to the mitochondria where their receptors are. So that is a gamma-glutamyl cycle elucidated by Altenmeister. Again, it's the synthesis and breakdown of glutathione that allows the cells to bring amino acids into it.